How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and today we are coming at you with a new series. That's right, because my Madden series in terms of like connected franchise teams, it's over. So we're gonna do something different. This is the NFL Superlative list, and we're doing this for all 32 teams. But we're gonna start off with my favorite team, of course, the Green Bay Packers. That's right. And I'm gonna go ahead and list off the categories. By the way, the idea really came from like a combination of social media and like 2 YouTube videos that I've seen. I figured I'd take all of those, do my own little spin on them. But here we go. I took some categories that I thought were important. So here we go. So the categories are best player, best new addition, and yeah, best player is pretty much self-explanatory. It's the best player on the team. Best new addition, of course, is a player that is coming over via trade, free agency, or the NFL draft. Most underrated player on your team, of course, a player that you think is underrated, underappreciated. Most overrated, maybe a player in your opinion who is gassed up on your team. Just a guy who gets, too much hype based on like one season or one play, whatever the criteria may be. Breakout player, just a player on either offense or defense who you just have a gut feeling is going to take a big jump next season. A prove it year, basically a player who, has been playing pretty poorly, pretty inconsistently. Maybe a guy who's been battling with injury that needs to keep his spot on the team or on the starting lineup. And then the X factor, kind of a combination of the breakout player and prove it guy. It's really hard to explain X factor. Basically a guy who, will have to come up big at certain times. I don't really know how to explain X factor. But yeah, it's kind of like a breakout player, but it's not. And it's kind of like a prove-it player, but it's not. It's just a guy who, could be the key to success potentially. So we're going to go ahead and do this with my Green Bay Packers today. Figured I'd just go ahead and explain the list. And for best player, it's pretty simple. We got my boy Aaron Rodgers as the best player. I'm not really going based off Madden ratings. I'm just going based on real life because I think real life should play a factor into my answer choices. So Aaron Rodgers for me, easily the team's best player. Without Aaron Rodgers in the past, we've seen what this team looks like, and they don't look so good. This team, of course, has gotten a lot better over the last 2 seasons. They've added a lot of talent, but talent doesn't win. Talent wins games, but teamwork wins championships. So the NFL is not a talent show. It's a results league. So hopefully the Green Bay Packers, fingers crossed, will get a Super Bowl. We'll get the results, sometime before Aaron Rodgers retires, preferably this upcoming season. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is the glue that just keeps the entire organization together. And without him, this team would definitely be a mess. So now we go to the best new addition. And for me, that is going to be Adrian Amos. Now, you could make an argument for a lot of different guys. Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, Rashawn Gary, Darnell Savage. You can make a lot of arguments for a lot of different players. I went with Adrian Amos because the safety position has been a weakness for a little bit now. Of course, with the inconsistent play over the last couple of years with Clinton-Dix, Josh Jones really not taking that step up to be a nice guy back there. And then Tramon Williams moving the free safety wasn't really, a good move either because he just played poorly there. Not really a great athlete either at this late stage in his career. Amos is a guy who's going to come in. He's done a little bit of everything in his NFL career. Played some free safety, some nickel corner, some strong safety. So he definitely brings a lot of versatility. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Packers used him in a lot of different ways, especially with Mike Pettin, who likes to draw up creative blitz schemes. So Amos, to me, is going to be the best new addition. He is a fit on a lot of different defenses, and in this one, it's no different. Most underrated player, I'm going to go with Kenny Clark. Now, in Madden, of course, he's a 90 overall, but I'm not basing it on Madden. I'm basing it on real life. So Kenny Clark kind of doesn't get the respect he deserves in the NFL landscape. Of course, there are a lot of great interior defensive linemen. You have Snacks Harrison, who is one of the better run defenders. You have Aaron Donald, who is like arguably the best player in football, period. Fletcher Cox, Geno Atkins, 2 other really good pass rushers. And then you start going down the list, you have the Grady Jarretts of the world, and I think Kenny Clark is, kind of in that bunch, but he's a different type of defensive tackle. Grady Jarrett is a better pass rushing version, but Kenny Clark's a better run stopping version. But they're both pretty similar in terms of like where they would be ranked, amongst their peers. If they were like some sort of tier maker, they would kind of be in the same grouping. But Kenny Clark is just a beast. And remember, he was drafted at the age of 20 years old. And he has developed very nicely. He just seems to take a jump every single season. I think this year he's still got a little bit of room to grow. And I think he's just going to end up being a stud. And like he has been, he's just going to end up getting better, eventually making a Pro Bowl. We'll see how it goes. Most overrated, yeah, we got to go down a little bit. But most overrated is going to be Kyler Fackrell. Yes, he had that one season last year where he had 10.5 sacks. But for people who actually watch the game and doesn't just look at the box score or the stat sheets, Kyler Fackrell had 2 games in which he got like 6 to 7 of his sacks. And it was against Buffalo and against the Miami Dolphins. Miami had 4 starters out on the offensive line. The Buffalo Bills, I believe, had 2 or 3. So his numbers are extremely gassed up based on 2 games, because outside of that, he probably got like 4, 3.5 sacks or whatever. So Kyler Fackrell, to me, his numbers are definitely gassed up. It doesn't mean he's a terrible player, but I feel like people, especially in Green Bay, are overrating him. I mean, there's a reason we went out and got more pass rushing help, and it's not necessarily because of him, but I mean, people would game plan for him if we just ran back the same team. So Kyler Fackrell, in my opinion, is just overrated. Breakout player, I'm going to go with Marquez Valdes-Scantling. A lot of people would say Aaron Jones, but that's way too easy of an answer. Matt LaFleur said that Marquez Valdes-Scantling could potentially be the wide receiver number 2 on this team. And, last year he was kind of fiddling around with wide receiver 3 or 4. So he's going to be the next outside receiver across the field from Devontae Adams, it looks like. And he has been putting in a lot of work, and he has been damn good, throughout his rookie season. Nothing too special, but just able to make some plays. And that's sometimes what you want to see from a 5th-round rookie. Just a guy who's going to make some plays, show flashes of what he could be. And this year, I'm expecting a big jump, especially in this offense. Prove it year. So we have to go up just a little bit. I had to look for this man's name. Oh, no, he ain't going to be that high. Let me look for him. I'm sorry. There we go. Kevin King. He is in a prove it year. I think he's a pretty good corner, good enough to, be on the starting lineup or whatever, obviously. But, he's got the size, he's got the length, and he's actually a decent coverage guy. He does better against bigger receivers. Those smaller guys, not so much. But, Kevin King, he's been battling a lot of different nagging injuries, and I feel like he's just going to have to prove it because his contract is going to come up soon. He'll be eligible for an extension pretty soon. And if Kevin King doesn't bounce back, I mean, it's not that he won't have a market, because I'm pretty sure teams would love to get their hands on this type of corner, but he definitely is going to have to improve if he wants to maintain starter status. And then for the X Factor, I'm going to go with Josh Jackson. I was very high on Josh Jackson coming out of Iowa, a wide receiver converted to corner, led the NCAA in interceptions with 8, and he gets drafted in the 2nd round. I thought it was a round too late. In my opinion, I thought he was going to be a late first. Ends up going mid-second to the Green Bay Packers. I was very excited. Then his rookie year happened, and a lot of ups and downs. He was good at points, but he was getting beat on contested jump balls, which should really be a strength for him because he has a pretty damn good vertical and he's a former wide receiver. It should be easy for him to win some of those contested ball, jumps or whatever. But he was getting mossed by like Kenny Galladay. I mean, it was rough out there for him. Pretty good on special teams, but I don't want to see this man on special teams. I want to see him out there making plays. But with an improved pass rush and better players around you in the secondary, it could create for opportunities for him to be a ball hawking corner. He's more of a zone press corner. When he came out, I compared him to Marcus Peters. This team is more of a man coverage team at times, but when they run zone, I think it could benefit Josh Jackson, especially if the pass rush is able to get there. because he is one of those high IQ, rookies that came out last season. He kind of knows where the football is going to be. He has a nose for it for sure. Hopefully he just builds upon, the strengths of his rookie season, and he'll definitely be better. But let me know how you guys feel down below about these answers and how you feel about this new superlative list for NFL teams. I'm gonna be doing one for every team, so the next episode we will start off with the Chicago Bears. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and peace out.